Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Marvel, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Have I got a treat for you today? None other than Dr. Archima Majors will be on at 7 a.m. to have a discussion with us about seeing our health through our eyes. And I've been working with her now for a couple of weeks, ever since my friend died from a series of strokes. I called her right after I learned my friend died, and I was inconsolable. And she began having a conversation with me about how we can save ourselves and our lives as a direct result of what's happening with our bodies, right? And how we can make sure that we stay on top of certain things. And so I'm grateful that she's agreed to join us this morning. Good morning to each and every one of you. It is Friday, July 25th. I am sending love and warmth to my friend, Carol Ann Simpson, who is in Jamaica right now, about to bury the love of her life, who died tragically some weeks ago. And he is someone we all knew. We all grew up with him, went to school, and knew him very well. And so his death hit the Jamaican community really hard and hit us hard too. And, Carol is no stranger to to challenges like any of us are, but this one was hard for my friend. So at some point when she comes back from Jamaica, I'll be heading to her to spend a week or two, and we'll probably be broadcasting live from there. I'm just letting you know now. It is what we do in our community to love on each other. We don't just say, look at how crooked this thing is, Lord Jesus. We don't just say sorry for your loss and then move on. We literally show up as a community to help and support each other. So that's where we are right now. I'm going to read a little bit of news. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Marguerite. Good morning, Bobby. Good morning to all of you. You know what I decided, Marguerite? Good morning. Good morning, Beatrice and Monica. I see you all here. I have decided that I have a ton of clothes, right? The clothing rack for one of my closets dropped boop a couple of days ago. And so I have to put it back together. But then I realized I had all this clothing that I just wasn't wearing. And so I'm wearing my clothes. I'm wearing my clothes, whether, whatever. I'm just wearing my clothes. Good morning. Thank you, Dad. Thank you. Not waiting for a special moment to be cute. I'm just wearing my clothes. And so you'll see a lot of this because I have a bunch of things that I haven't worn in a long, long time. Good morning, Roz. So for those of you who are just joining us, Dr. Archima, the one that I've talked to you all about forever and a day. The one that I believe saved me from having to be on diabetic medication, the one that has talked me through making sure that I take care of my body, making sure that I am okay, the one that I call when I can't get my regular doctor, Dr. Renelle Dupree, who I saw her for the first time in 18 months. She had a really bad fall and damaged herself really terribly. And so she was out for a few months, and then she got pregnant, and her baby's now a year old. I was so happy to see her. So happy to see her. And so, but Dr. Archima, in the meantime, was the one, making sure my blood work was done, making sure that my A1C was up to snuff. Because Dr. Renelle Dupree is the only one in that practice that I really enjoy seeing, because she just takes her time with you. And so, Dr. Archima, I would call her and I'd go, ah! And she said, all right, do this, do this, do this. So good morning to all of you. Good morning, Jasenia. I see you. So I'm going to read a little bit of news and then I'm going to have her on. Now, let me say this. It's supposed to hang on my right side, sir. My husband just texted me and said, your dress is hanging down on the right side. That's the way the dress is designed. It's supposed to hang this way. Let me tell you now that Dr. Archima will probably be on for more than a half an hour, right? Once we get to talking about what's going on, I'll allow you to ask her some questions. You can call in, write the call-in number down now, 215-400-0146. Again, that's 215-400-0146. That's the number to call in so you can ask her your questions now. If she can answer, she will. If she can't, she'll tell you to come in and see him. Come in and see her, or go see a physician, or what you should ask for when you go to your doctor. She's really, she's really, 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 really good. Really good. And I cannot overemphasize that. Marguerite says, I was just telling someone about Dr. Archima Major yesterday. I know I interviewed her for the first time in 2018. And then I wrote a cover story about her. I don't know what you're talking about, David Devlin. I don't know what you're talking about. Um, and then I wrote a cover story about her on the Philadelphia Sunday Sun that is sitting on a thing on the wall in her office. And I'm so proud of her. She's like a sister that I never met until we met. And so I've been, talking about her. All my people. Jennifer says, good morning. I love her. And so does my littles. She loves going to see Dr. Major. Yes. Good morning, Jennifer, darling. How are you? And so, I kept calling. I was like, come on, Archie, we got to do this. Poor thing. She worked until almost 9:00 last night. And so I wanted to make sure that she was able to come on. I first said 7:30 and I was like, no, can you come on at 7? She's like, Andrea. But that's my bookie. In fact, I should have worn the dress. I send so many clients her way. Sometimes I'm standing in the office and they'll call and say, Marva, Andrea sent me, because I just believe in what she does and how she does it. And when you walk into her office, it's nothing but soothing gospel music. You don't have a choice but to just lay back and say, bless the Lord, oh my soul. And she takes her time with you. She does. She doesn't rush you through. So you may sit in the waiting room for a little bit, but when it's your turn, honey, you're going to get all the things. And she plays no jokes about our health. So it's just, I keep talking about her. She's literally amazing. So to have her on today is a great, great thing for me. Good morning, Teresa Brown Paris. David Dedman, I don't know what you're talking about. No, as in wife of Morgan, no. That is, you're talking about somebody else. You're talking about a psychiatrist. And I'm looking at her face. But that's another story for another day. Beatrice says, yes, thank you for sharing her with all of us. My sister is going to her and loves her. Thank you, Marvel. See, this is the stuff that brings me to tears, because I know Archima Major is amazing. 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 I can't overemphasize it. So when she comes on, again, have your questions ready. The call-in number is 215-400-0146. I'm willing to let this broadcast go, longer than usual, just so you can get all your questions in, to ask her. She is a dear. And once you become a patient of hers, and I don't promote anything lightly. I think you all know that by now. I promote nothing lightly. So for me to sit here and gush and gush and gush about Dr. Archima Majors tell you a whole lot, right? Alexandra says, I'm looking to see if she takes my insurance because she's a specialist for my eye condition and she's trained to fit the special contact lenses I need. And she's one of 2 Black women in the area. Absolutely. Good morning, Cheryl Brown. Good morning. Good morning, Kathleen. Oh. Okay, Kathleen, seeing you here almost made, the tears are here. The tears are here. They're just some folks that have been in my life for a long, long time. And Kathleen Joyce is one of them. I used to call Kathleen living in Abington going, oh, what the hell? And she would comment, all right, Diva. She calls me Diva. All right, Diva, let's think this thing through. I hear you. I agree with you. But how are we going to navigate this? Kathleen has been listen. And when I had my impromptu lunch where the 200 women came, she came and brought Congresswoman Madeline Dean with her. And they just sat there and soaked us all up. Like, it was amazing. Amazing. So I just love you. I love you, my sister. It's good to see you. Good to see you. So yes, she more than likely takes your insurance, Alexandra, but I want you all to soak her up. Listen to everything that she's saying to you. I went to see her in January for my annual eye visit, because I'm diagnosed diabetic. I have to go every year. And she did all the things. I don't need any glasses. I can see perfectly well. Fine. The glasses that I have continues to work. Da, 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 da. I use it for driving distance, right? And she looks in my eye. She puts my head in this thing, and it flashes this bright light. And then she opens it up, and she looks at me. She says, "You need more protein, and your iron is low." And all I could hear was Audra, my trainer, in my head going, "You need more." She said, "You can't lift all these weights and not have the amount of protein that you need." And then she literally said to me, "Go do this, go get that, go get that." I got out of there. I went and got this. I got that. I got that. And that's what I've been using to get my protein levels up. I'm still kind of struggling with the iron part because, iron makes you constipated and don't nobody want to deal with all of that. Um, but I do need to do, and it's worked. And so when I went to see my physician, Kathleen said, "I love you too. We still talk about the vibes in that room at your lunch. It was amazing." Love you, my darling. Love you. So when you go, if you are currently a patient of Dr. Majors, if you decide that you want to go see Dr. Majors, I'm telling you now, don't go in there and shake your crocus. Go in there and listen to what she's telling you, because it will stop you from getting sicker. It will help you to heal, and your body will feel much better. I'm roaming around here 6 years after I've been diagnosed as a diabetic, just living my best life on no medication. None. Zero. Uh, and she keeps working with me to get my A1C to under 5, right? So I'm in 5 now. She's like, "I want to get you under 5." I'm like, "Is that possible?" "Yeah, that's possible. We're going to get you under 5. Erica says, "Yes, she told me things my primary physician never even mentioned to me. She has helped me so much." And when I tell you you're in for a treat, come on over here to YouTube if you want to see her face. A.LawfulTruth Enterprises. You will see us over here. When I say, and my friends, one woman called me from Florida. She said, "I'm living in Florida now." That's when I was on the radio. She said, "But I'm coming back. I'm flying back to see Dr. Majors because I had been talking about a problem that I've been having for years. All the doctors poo-pooed me." She looked in my eyes and says, "You got a problem with your heart." That woman called me and cried. And she said, "I thought I was crazy. I was going in and out of the hospital." And Dr. Majors looked in my eyes and said, "This is what the problem is. Tell them run this test, this test, this test." And that's how that woman was able to survive all the things that she had been going through. I could tell you a zillion stories about Dr. Majors. I'm telling you, I could. Viola says, "I was at Dr. Major's office Monday past. She recommended that I needed iodine." All of this from looking in your eyes. All of this. She's an optometrist. All of this from looking in your eyes. And she takes your insurances and she does what she needs to do. And so I'm grateful for her. And apparently the little babies love her too. She's really, really good. You hear me? I've been talking about Dr. Majors for 15 minutes. Marguerite says, "I need to make an appointment with her." Yes, please do. Please, please do. And when something is wrong, or I remember calling her a few weeks ago, right as the spring came around, and I said, "My eyes are so dry. Do I need such and such and such?" And she said, "I said, I need to have my plugs, my collagen plugs put in because I have really dry eyes, and the collagen plugs leave my eyes, make my eyes tear for like 2, 3 months." I go in to see her, and she said, "I'm gonna put some drops in your eyes." No lie. She puts the drops in my eyes, put the thing up, and she says, "Oh," my eyes turn green. There were little, there was an infection in my eye that was bubbling up under my eyelid, and she had to get a thing and wash out my eye. That was from my being in the garden, weeding and doing what I need to do and planting. She said, "Andrea, you can't. Your eyes are." And so she had to call in a prescription. "My eyes turned green, y'all. My eyes were green." She was looking at me like, "Do you want to see what this looks like?" And she goes on the computer and she pulls it. I said, "I don't want to see." I don't want to see. So here I thought my eyes were just dry. I had an infection in my eyes from all the pollen and the stuff. And them little suckers were just in there giving me a hard time. The minute she flushed my eyes out and put some of the drops in, I felt 1,000% better. When I tell you, she is everything, everything. So that's getting ready to happen. So gather your edges, pull yourselves together, because my friend is about to come on so you can talk to her. Yes, that David, you need to go see her. And I'm telling you, when she tells you, what you need. And she may say, you're perfectly fine. You're perfectly fine. She'll tell you all of that. And she looks in my eyes and says, your diabetes is absolutely controlled. You're fine. Don't worry about it. But my iron. And when I told my primary care physician, who I just saw Wednesday, and I said, my eye doctor is amazing. I'm telling her I'm just blurting out all the things about my eye doctor. And I said, she told me that my iron was low. She said, Andrea, at this age in your life, yes, that will happen. You have to be careful. And she told me, I can't do all this fasting that I do where I stop eating. She said, do that 2 days a week. Within an hour of your waking up, she says, you must put something in your stomach, and you're to eat every 3 to 4 hours, small meals with snacks in between, because when we don't feel hungry as we get older and we eat the 1 or 2 meals a day, then we gain weight. I can hear Audrey in my ears again, right? And so I'm forcing myself to eat more, but small meals, and so that I can be okay, right? Because I'm doing all this weightlifting and everything else in between. It should, start to make a difference. So it's just awesome. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Let me read a little bit of news before she comes on, because when she comes on, again, the call-in number is 215-400-0146. Make sure you put that, write that down. Don't say to me, and I've actually put it in the very top of the chat, to call in 215-400-0146. All right, let me do a little bit of news because she'll be on soon. Yeah, well, this caused a little bit of an uproar on social media. Social media is becoming so toxic. I'm at the space now where I just don't even know if I want to be on social media anymore. It's the work that I do that keeps me there. Two-time WWE Hall of Famer and former world champion Hulk Hogan, whose real name is Terry Gene Bollea, died Thursday at the age of 71, according to police in Clearwater, Florida, and World Wrestling Entertainment. World Wrestling Entertainment is saddened to learn WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away. The company said, one of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Hogan helped the WWE to achieve global recognition in the 1980s. WWE extends its condolences to Hogan's family, friends, and fans. So this was written by 6abc.com. Here came the issue. So many people loved Hulk Hogan. They loved him, adored him. I keep reminding you all that people are humans, and they are, you're not always going to agree or like the things that they say and do. Well, he came out in 2016 calling black people the N-word, and was all about the MAGA, and folks just turned against him. So when he passed away yesterday, I looked online, and there may have been, for every 2 people that said I'm saddened by his loss, there were 1,000 that said, yeah, we know. So it's interesting. We don't tend to forgive. The cancel culture is very real in these Wakandan streets, and it just makes you sad. SEPTA will begin installing signs throughout the Philadelphia region on Thursday morning, notifying customers of bus routes and stops that would be eliminated next month if they fail to prevent the looming transit death spiral. Unless they can bridge a $213 million structural budget deficit, SEPTA plans to cut services and fares starting in late August of 2025. The service cuts would include the elimination of 38 bus routes on August 24, 2025, a day before school begins in Philadelphia. On Thursday, July 24th, SEPTA will install signage in Philadelphia. That was yesterday. So they've begun installing signage in Philadelphia showing the impacted routes and bus stops. They will then release their fall service schedules during the week of August 4th, 2025. After that, they will continue to reach out to the public to advise them of specific service changes and how it would impact their travel throughout the month of August. Now, I also saw someone posting that they had a $314 million budget, what do you call that? Windfall within their budgets. So when you have a budget, you want to make sure you have a little bit left off to the side. $314 million, and people were complaining that they should use the money that they have from their budget storage to pay for at least one more year. But then that leaves them with what? $100 million. $100 million is not a lot to cover an agency that large. And if they ever have, God forbid, something huge happen, then they're going to, they need to be able to. So that made no sense. I need us to take our emotions out of things when we're paying attention and start to ask questions of yourselves, do a little bit of do a little bit of research, because here's the deal: $314 million is like $314 in a space in a company as large as SEPTA. Seriously, right? What they should have in their windfall is billions of dollars, not 314 million. So it may seem like a lot to the naked eye and to those who are sitting around looking at it, but it really is a drop in the bucket. So even with $314 million, they are in trouble. They are in trouble because one thing can suck that all up, and they need to be able to do certain things. Plus, they've got to pay their employees, and they've got to make sure that those their insurance, etc., is paid for when they have their employees. So people are telling me that folks from SEPTA are being laid off. I don't know how true that is, but these are the folks who are being laid off at this point, telling me that that's happening to them. So we will see what happens there. Okay. Um, Hundreds of laptops will soon be distributed to local schools and community nonprofits in Philadelphia, thanks to a grant from the Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority aimed at expanding digital access and equity across the state. Achievability, a nonprofit committed to ending poverty for Philadelphia families, will receive 150 laptops. Mighty Writers, which helps youth build strong writing skills, will receive 200 laptops. Both Temple University and the Laboratory School of Communication and Languages Charter School will also receive 200 laptops. Pennsylvania is taking meaningful steps to close the digital divide and empower students, families, and communities, said Senator Vincent Hughes in a statement. Our community members need access to 21st century tools. These laptops will give young people and families the ability to work faster, find information more efficiently, and stay connected to much of our world that is now digital, he said. This was written by the Philly Tribune. It is too soon to talk back to school. Not for the school district of Philadelphia. The district is gearing up for its annual Ring the Bell bus tour designed to connect families with essential school resources ahead of the upcoming academic year. Over the next few weeks, families can spot a colorful Ring the Bell school bus making stops in neighborhoods across the city. The goal is to bring support directly to where families live, work, and shop. All stops run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is CBSNews.com. Jesus. This is national news. ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, has directed personnel to sharply increase the number of immigrants they shackle with GPS-enabled ankle monitors as the Trump administration videos, as the Trump administration widens surveillance of people it is targeting for deportation, according to an internal ICE document reviewed by the Washington Post. In a June 9 memo, ICE ordered staff to place ankle monitors on all people enrolled in the agency's Alternative to Detention program whenever possible. About 183,000 adult migrants are enrolled in ATD and had previously consented to some form of tracking or mandatory check-ins while they waited for their immigration cases to be resolved. Currently, just 24,000 of those individuals wear ankle monitors. Do you all see what's going? Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus. We're talking concentration camps like it is the most natural conversation to have in the world, when it is devastating lives and people are really, truly being put in shackles and Lord. This is too much. It is too much. This was written by PhillyTribune.com. Anne Burrell, the Food Network chef beloved for her wit and talent in the kitchen, died by suicide last month after being found unresponsive in her Brooklyn home, New York officials said Thursday. The cause of death was confirmed by New York City's Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, citing acute intoxication from multiple substances. Without identifying Burrell, the fire department said it responded to her address at 7:50 a.m. on the morning of June 17th for a report of cardiac arrest. She was declared dead upon arrival. Burrell loved the culinary arts since childhood, watching her mother and Julia Child growing up. She studied at the Culinary Institute of America and later became a teacher before embarking on her television career. She started as a sous chef on Iron Chef America and later offered her own show, Secrets of a Restaurant Chef, which aired for 4 years. People are just people are just going through, and they're not talking, they're not saying. Don't know if she was suffering from anxiety, depression, mental health issues before all of this. Don't know. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Mova. How may I help you?
Good morning. Good morning to you.
David, hi, darling.
Yes, I noted in this new briefing, and I think it is warranted that we mention the craziness of the executive office of the President of the United States putting out this memo saying that the Obama administration would have sought out a vicious attack against him personally with this Russia probe, and that it was all a hoax, it was all created, this and the other. And the only reason why I wanted to call and sort of circle is because I don't want us as a community to forget the live footage. And so I posted and shared with people, but there is live footage of Giuliani saying he never said there was no collusion amongst the campaign itself. He was always speaking about Donald Trump. And then we have the footage of Donald Trump standing next to Vladimir Putin on stage, and Vladimir Putin is asked, did you direct ministers in office of the Russian government to aid and help Donald Trump to win the election? And Vladimir Putin on stage says yes twice, and then gives an explanation as to why. And so I thought that was a really big piece of news that that a lot of media organizations are tiptoeing around as we see cancel culture coming to ABC, CBS.
Yes, all of them. Yep.
And I wanted the audience to be aware that one, noise is noise, and it's meant to distract away from what's real. Epstein problems, what's real, crisis of immigration, what's real, death camps, concentration camps in America, right? And to move us and divide us into a place of eating our own young, if you will. Let us not take the bait.
I agree. And there's so much going on, so much being pushed out towards us every single day. You are absolutely correct. I believe it was Simone Sanders that said these men were literally trafficking children, because they're all the money they had and they thought this would never come to light, et cetera, et cetera. And yet we see the average American citizen going, deport them, deport the people, they get the illegals. And I'm going, do you not realize all the things that are being covered up just so you can continue to not keep your eyes off of this thing that's happening over here? Did you also see that he's signing an executive order to get all homeless people off the street, doesn't care where they go? Did you see that?
Yes. And it is to round them up, basically. And
where are they going? And he's telling every city in America to get rid of them.
America, no plan. It's from those criminals.
What is... So... how do we then, because we had never in our lifetimes living in this country ever experienced anything at this level, how do we then navigate this? What does this look like for us?
You know, Andrea, it's hard. It's hard to stand in this position because I feel like we came to this audience particularly, and I know I've been on the tour, the world tour, if you will, screaming at people, lifeboats, iceberg straight ahead. Iceberg straight ahead, get to the lifeboats. And part of that conversation has spoken to homelessness. I addressed the city governments as a body in chambers and expressed that there was a need to take these empty buildings and to put unhoused people in them for security and safety, not simply just because we have a homeless population problem of 5,300 some odd people and 5,400 some odd buildings which are empty and vacant, but rather more because we don't know what the federal government is going to do, i.e. this new executive order, which would simply criminalize people that we call
for being unhoused. He's criminalizing people that are unhoused. What's going to happen to them?
I don't want us just to look at these people who are currently unhoused and do what we do often and walk past them and say, oh my gosh, well, there's a reason why. Therefore, but the grace of God, do you know that 80-some% of Philadelphians live paycheck to paycheck without
it's got to be more than 80-something. It's got to be more than 80-something% of us, right?
Without one paycheck, they are the next person who's unhoused.
Yep.
And so When you look at the court system in Philadelphia, the largest amount of action in the court system, I believe, is still in the housing unit. People who are being sued for eviction, moved around this, any other. Mm-hmm. This is the court which is having the biggest issue with numbers, right? Yes. This is a pervasive problem and an illness that we have in the city, but around the nation. So when we say, what do we do? What do we do about issues like that? What do we do about healthcare? Well, quite frankly, we should have been doing the humanitarian things that we ignored for so very long. It just means that we don't have to do them double swift. Yeah. We've got to get to the place where we say, enough of the bureaucracy, shut up with the crap, open the doors, let the people in.
Yeah. Dr. Majors is here. You and I are going to get back on this thing on Monday. We got a whole hour.
Wait. I'm going back to listen.
Okay. All right. Bye, honey. Bye.
Bye.
Dr. Major! I can't see
you. Good morning. Can you see me?
I cannot see
my...
Oh! Can't find you. You want to log out and log back in? Turn on your camera.
Let me try it. It says it's on, so I don't...
No, I can't see you.
I'm going to log out and log back in.
Log out and log back in because I need them to see you. I need them to see you. Log out and log back in, Dr. Major. She's going to... This must be a day that I'm going to cry. My baby Antoine said, I just want to say I love you. He did. He stood in a crowd full of people yesterday and said, Andrea was there for me as my mother when I was just going through this. And I mean, and I started to cry. And these white men all circled over. I was like, it's going to be all right. You must really love him. So he sent me a great note. Alexandra says she has the camera slide on her lens. I saw that, but I don't know if she can figure that part out. Well, because she worked really hard last night, so we'll see. But coming on will be Dr. Majors. Let me introduce her to all of you. While we're waiting for her to come back in. Dr. Archer Major is an experienced and innovative optometrist at the helm of Eye Innovations in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. Dr. Major founded Eye Innovations and acts as Chief Executive Officer. Her goal for the practice is to provide superior eye care and services to patients of all ages. She offers eye exams, contacts, and glasses, as well as ocular disease management that includes dry eyes, diabetic eye problems, glaucoma, and computer vision syndrome. Dr. Major earned her undergraduate degree in chemistry, graduating with honors from Temple University in Philadelphia. She went on to earn a second bachelor's degree in visual science. Then she earned her optometry doctorate at Pennsylvania College of Optometry, now Salus University in Elkins Park, Pennsylvania. Dr. Major completed her family practice optometry residency at Northeastern State University and at the W.W. Hastings Indian Medical Center in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. Child. Lord, listen to me. Let this not be an issue because, we need to see Dr. Major. Why is my eye tearing like this? My eye has been tearing terribly. Let's see if we can get her back on, get in. She, push comes to shove, we'll just listen to her talk, but I really wanted you to see her and talk to her because, again, the phone number to call in, 215-400-0146 if you want to talk to Dr. Major. If you have questions, write them in the chat on Facebook, Instagram, and right here on YouTube so we can have that dialogue with her. It's amazing. Let me discuss a little bit what David was talking about. Jesus, there's so much going on. So much going on. Oh, Lena says Dr. Majors is amazing. She gave me a high potassium recipe, which I need again to help with my blood pressure. My girl, I'm telling you. She's gonna need a whole new office when we get finished today. I had one interview with her in 2018, left her office completely full because everything I told you she is, and just that much more. So we're gonna run a little bit late today. We're gonna go past 7:30. If you got to go to work, turn on your radio. Listen while you're in the car. Not your radio. Turn on your your YouTube and listen while you're in the car, or Facebook or Instagram. You can always listen live in your cars, right? Because this is a great conversation that we're going to go on. Monica says it's okay. We'll just listen to Dr. Major. She's really, really, really good. So I don't know about the rest of you. This past weekend, Nakia Murray from the Black Girls Spa Club, actually in May, she reached out and she says, I'm curating a space for just 8 women. And she said, I know you don't like being around a crowd of people and you really want to have your space. Would you like to be a part of it? So I turned to my husband and I said, she's offering this. I said, I don't know if I'm going to go. I just, he said, go. He said, go. He said, go, pay for it and go. So I paid for it, and that was in May. By the time the weekend came, this past weekend, I was so exhausted. You all don't know, to read the news, and I guess you all are reading the news, and you have the pleasure to shut the news down and not pay attention. I have to keep paying attention to it so that I can report to you responsibly what's happening. What we're seeing now, though, is what we would call legacy news and reputable news sources. They are now turning into rags because the reputable folks are jumping ship. They're like, the things that are going on behind the scenes, the things that we're being told to say and do, we don't want to do it, so they're leaving. Newspaper journalists have all been jumping ship. Everybody is finding their way to Substack, YouTube, the things that I've been doing now for almost a year. And when folks asked me, do you want to go work for CNN? You want? Nope. I kept saying no, and everybody thought I was crazy. I got vision, and I could see what was coming. And so now nobody's really watching. They're losing their listenership because everybody's on YouTube, right? And so those folks who are making zillions of dollars for sponsorships, etc., and that money is now going to the people because it's going directly to the folks who are on YouTube doing their stuff. And so for those of you who have been subscribing and paying to the Substack so that I can stay there, for those of you who have just for the sponsorships that we've gotten, thank you. We are literally able to curate a staff of folks to do the work so that I'm not, running myself ragged. But nobody can help me with the emotional trauma that comes from every day watching people in concentration camps, every day watching the deflection, we can't do this and we can't, it's a mess. It's a whole mess. And every day I see we're getting closer and closer to shit just falling completely apart and people running, screaming in the streets. And while I want us to live our lives as normally as possible, it's hard, right? If I had heard from the Black Girls Spa Club today, I would not have gotten not because I don't want to have the respite, but it's because money is looking funny for everybody. And we all have to be very careful about, how we spend our coins. And Nakia, she pulled it together. She had chefs in the house. They made sure we weren't hungry at all. There was hot tubs and massages, and you can just go in a corner and read your Bible if you wanted to. You could swing if you wanted to. There were 2 chair swings in the house itself. Everything, the house was just amazing. And it took me a whole damn day to decompress. By the time I decompressed, it was time to come home, because there's just so much going on. East Coast 215 said it feels like a sci-fi story come true, like 1984, The Parable of the Sower and The Parable of the Talents, especially the last 2 titles, right? So it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And it's hard. It's hard for everybody. Ira was with me yesterday doing my makeup so that I could go to do this thing with Antoine Johnson, who needs a kidney. And I looked at him and I said, Ira, there's coming a place and a time where I won't be able to, get you to do my face, because again, we're just all just trying to fit. He said, Mother, I understand and I absolutely appreciate it. And so we had a conversation, and while he was doing my face, he said, all right, this is what I want to do for you. And he did, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 events, major events in the next 2 weeks, 10 days. And he says, I'm going to give it to you for this price. And I looked at him, I said, dude, thank you. Thank you. Because I'm working. It's not like I'm just showing up and being cute. I am working. And when I am working and cameras are around, I have to have makeup on, which is why you see me doing my hair. It's all right. It's all right, Archima. Here's what I'm going to tell her. I'm gonna tell her, just come on, just join without camera. This is the devil. All right, all right. We'll work it out. All right. So we'll. I'm just telling her to just join without the cameras. That's fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine because I need people to talk to her. Um. Uh. Alexandria says, unfortunately, the money isn't trickling down to black-owned media like Roland Martin, Unfiltered, Clay Kane. Listen, just wait, just hold on. We are now as a people being forced to recognize that if we don't support each other, forget the money coming from big organizations, big businesses. That $1.7 trillion spending habit that we have, that we've been putting into clothes and shoes, we're not going to put it into media. We're going to put it into the spaces where people can hear and understand. Monica says it's BS news. I don't look at that nonsense, only for the weather. I appreciate you so, Andrea. You filter things for me. And so as I am filtering things for you, I am asking you to pray. Pray for me. All right. Okay. 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 She says she's trying with her phone, but she has to download the app. So she'll be on. You'll see her. Just hang with me because it's going to be absolutely worth the wait. I ask that you all pray because there's some days I get on here, some days I don't want to get on here because there's so much going on. The other person I call all the time is Joanne Bell. And I say, Joanne, I need to hear your voice at least once a week to calm me down. And I'm being very transparent with all of you because we come on and we put on this stoic face and this, our shoulders are back and our heads are tilted and we're reporting all that we need to report. But I'm telling you, we're struggling in the background. I talked to Lorraine Ballard Morrill yesterday and she said, Andrea, we're all going through it. We're all going through it. East Coast 215, here she is. Let me see if I can get her. Says, the more we rely on others, including the government, the more likely we'll be stuck when they pull the assistance. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's see. Well, all right, look who it
Good morning.
is. Good morning, darling.
Good morning. Good morning. It's been a
Are you? It's all right. Are you in the office already?
yes, I am.
Oh, you must really love me. Thank you. Thank
Yes, I
you.
do. So we talk to this hour in the morning.
I know.
Good
Your
morning. Can you
sound is coming a
hear me
little bit
clearly?
in and out. Do you have good sound? Do you have a good internet connection?
Well, I do, but it may be we are in the building, so we're trying to get this working. I had to join through the cell phone, so
I see. All
who
right.
knows?
So, for those of you who are just joining me, Dr. Archima Major is an experienced and innovative optometrist at the helm of Eye Innovations in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. She founded the organization and acts as the chief executive officer. I want you to hear this. She offers eye exams, contacts, and glasses, as well as ocular disease management that includes dry eyes, diabetic eye problems, glaucoma, and computer vision syndrome. Dr. Archima, thank you for joining me this morning because I'm telling you, the people have been talking about you.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, they have. Jennifer says her littles her love you. You know, Jennifer Rivers, she said her littles love you. Why is my guy cheering like this? People are saying that they've seen you, that you're wonderful, blah, 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 blah. So the folks love you. I did not tell a lie when I said you were simply the best. Talk to me now about why did you choose to become an optometrist versus any other doctor? What was your story behind that?
Well, I mean, there's no huge, no huge story. There's nobody. There was nobody I knew that knew anything about the eye. It's as simple as that. There are a lot of physicians or medically inclined folks in my family. I hope you can hear me clearly. I don't know.
Yeah, we
We're
can hear
trying to
you.
deal
We
with
can hear
this,
you.
but okay. Good. There are a lot of medically inclined, educated people. I was raised in a home with a pediatrician and an orthopedic surgeon. So medicine was part of my formative development, but nobody knew anything about the eyes. And so my three areas that I was interested in were obstetrics, emergency medicine, and ophthalmology. And I just seem to enjoy ophthalmology more than the other two. So
Yeah.
that's
But
what
there's
that became.
yeah, but there's something special about you. You don't just look in our eyes, you see into our souls. Do you know how many lives you've changed? Do you recognize just how many people have? I remember in 2018, I came into your office and I sat for 6 hours and I interviewed people who said they were blind and you brought their vision back.
That's
The
a blessing.
story, huh?
I said it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to help. I don't, and you know, it's interesting because I don't particularly think I'm so extraordinary, but I think that's kind of the gifting,
Yeah,
that I have, the
yeah,
ability to see things,
yes.
um, and kind of go a little further.
Hmm.
And I hope there were more providers who did the same. But yeah, I'm grateful to be a part of the journey and to be able to contribute in that way and to really save lives. And so thank you for sharing that. And thanks to all the people who have, who continue to support, come
Yeah,
around and share
yeah,
information because it's one to reach one, right? That's why
yeah.
we're here.
I already have a question. Good morning, Dr. Major. Alexandra says, have you ever encountered a patient with
Yeah,
okay,
keratoconus.
yes, in
Yes.
one eye and not the other?
Yes. More often than not, keratoconus is unilateral in presentation, but it can be bilateral. So yes, we see them all the time.
So what is that? What is keratoconus?
Well, keratoconus, well, the Latin word, right? Kerato is the Latin word for cornea. So the front surface of the eye.
Mhm.
Conus, it just describes the condition. The cornea is supposed to be spherical in nature, but over time, the collagen fibers from the cornea tend to degenerate. And so instead of the surface being spherical, it ends up looking like a cone.
Hmm.
And because it looks like a cone, those individuals are often significantly visually disabled. And in essence, they're for a long time, their only option was cornea transplant. And now, there's very few of us who are certified to sit and treat those conditions because, as you see, the phoropter, right, the machine that looks like a big eyeglasses, their
Yes.
prescriptions are usually beyond that machine capacity, and so we have to typically do things by hand. And I would take a map of the eye and design a lens from scratch to kind of get them to see. And most of them end up seeing 2015, 2020, 2015 or better with the
Wow.
lenses that you design. But outside of that, they're disabled. I mean, legally disabled. Some of them can barely see when you walk into the room. They don't know a person is in the room with them.
Oh,
Is that
wow.
significant? So yeah.
And you design a lens from scratch so that they can
Correct.
see?
I take a map of the eye. I mean, to the evaluation for that procedure, um, takes maybe about 2 to 3 hours in office because I have to take a map of the eye, measure the surface, and then put on different diagnostic lenses to see. And we have to fill it up with fluid to, you literally change the shape of the eye with a lens well. So it's a larger contact lens that we fill with solution, use a plunger to put it on. It has to settle for 20 minutes or so before I can evaluate it. So it's an extensive procedure.
Okay.
But in the end, yeah, they're seeing probably better than you and I. So
What?
by the grace of God, technology has been very helpful in
Yes.
terms of sustaining and keeping them out of having to get cornea transplants because it's not readily available, right? A lot of people don't donate tissue
Right.
so that's a different conversation. But
Okay. Okay. Talk to me about our health. What do you see? What are you normally listen? I know. What are you normally seeing in our eyes, particularly those of us that are coming to see you? What are the health concerns that you see looking in our eyes?
well, I mean, it's a broad scope, right? We can talk about children's vision, we can talk about adult vision. There's a full spectrum.
Okay.
The goal overall is to make sure you have quality vision. What does that actually mean? There are three components to vision. One is how clearly you see. Two is how well the eyes work together as a team. And third is information processing, more the higher order delays, whether or not what the retina is capturing, the brain actually sees. And so seeing is not a qualifier or it's not a function of the physical eye.
Okay.
The brain, the back of the brain, the occipital lobe is where sight occurs. And so that information has to be captured at the retina and then transmitted across the brain. So almost 80% of your brain is involved in eye and eyesight and vision and
What?
qualifying information. And so we have to capture all of that, right? And so people primarily, we talk about the clarity issue, whether I'm able to see. And that's why I always laugh when people are saying, oh, I have 20/20. I'm like, there are people who have 20/20 vision that are still qualified as legally blind, right? So
Really?
20/20, that's exactly. So 20/20 does not mean much. Everybody who has a leg doesn't always walk. So you have to understand there are different components, right? So we can't say you have good vision unless all three of those facilities are operating correctly. So first level, acuity, your ability to see clearly. Second level, are both eyes working in union, right? And in concession with one another. And third, whether or not what the image that's captured at the retina is what the brain actually sees. Because you have people who have dyslexia, they have those higher order disorders, or people who have different, after they've had strokes or what have you, they may have facial blindness. I mean, there's so many things. So it's not that they can't see or detect an image, but whether or not the quality of the image and the actual imagery is what the brain actually detects can be very different. I can be looking at a doorknob and my brain may see an apple. And
What?
the image is clear. Both eyes sees the image, but my brain doesn't qualify it correctly. So
But
we're
Doctor,
looking for different things.
but Doctor Majors, most people only go to the optometrist to get glasses. Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying? But yet you
I
can
know.
look in the. Tell me the things you can look in the eye and see, because
But
Marguerite says that. Hold on.
we have different levels of specialties, right, across ophthalmology as well. So some people are refractionists, so they're usually, unfortunately, in the commercialized portion of eye care, they're checking for prescriptions and kind of hurting people through, unfortunately. But then a lot of things get
Hmm.
lost in translation. But the eye is the only part of the body where we can see your arteries and veins in their natural state without cutting you open, right? So, and the branches directly from your heart, so we'll
I
be
need you
able
to
to
stop
test.
for a second. Stop. You said the eye is the only place where you can see what's going on in your body naturally without cutting you open. Did you just say
Right.
that to me?
You can see the arteries themselves, right? Branches from your heart. So if there's a cholesterol plaque, we'll see it. And you've seen it. I've taken the images and shown it to you. It can be gout in your toe. It'll show up in your eye. It can be HIV. Even with COVID, when COVID came around, 25% of the patients who had COVID, we diagnosed them through the eye. They came in thinking they had pink eye or allergies, and it was actually a COVID infection. So herpes, syphilis, I mean, a lot of things may
In
be
the eye.
dormant.
You can see all of this in the eye.
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with a crazy strain of gonorrhea now, so all those things. So we check for of child abuse. I mean, like I said, the spectrum is pretty far and wide, right? So you have the babies coming in. So we recommend that babies are evaluated at 6 months, but a child may be in daycare and or even an infant shaken baby syndrome. We diagnose it from the eye because they may not have physical bruising, but it'll show up in the retina, right? So we have to evaluate sickle cell anemia, kidney disease, liver cirrhosis. If you drink too much, you'll go colorblind. Let me throw that in there. It's a fact. So we have to check, right? And we're seeing now the resurgence. Well, I shouldn't say resurgence, insurgence, and the higher prevalence of hormone related disorders. And so that can be, thyroid issues. Then the thyroid hormone, I mean, your body is run by 50 hormones, 50. 37 of the 50 hormones that run your body are influenced by the thyroid gland, but nobody's checking it on a regular basis. And that's highly influenced by your liver. So those things will manifest and they can show up as dry eye. They can show up as cold feet. They can show up as cold fingertips. They can show up as leg pain. They can show up as gut disorders, bloating, in digestion problems, insulin resistance. So a lot of people have hypertension. So you're hearing the trend insulin resistance now.
Yes.
Insulin resistance is a primary contributing factor to hypertension, which starts as a kidney issue that becomes a cardiovascular issue, right? So we have to, like I said, when we look in the eye, we're telling a whole story. I mean, people say the eyes are the windows to the soul, but your eyes will tell all your business. So, I mean, I have people who
So
do all kinds of
hypertension is a kidney issue
it's
that
yeah, primarily a kidney issue that becomes a cardiovascular issue if it's protracted. So we want to make sure, and that's one of the bigger concerns in terms of educating people in terms of what wellness actually encompasses, right? It's the simple things. You have a lot of 75% of health is 100% under your control. Make sure you're sleeping. Sleep is extremely critical. 7 to 8 hours, we'll say 7 to 9 hours. So if you have a diagnosis like diabetes or what have you, you should be trending towards the 9 hours because your body needs a longer period of time to heal and recover. Hydrating yourself, water and high water fruits, preferably organic. That's important because electrolyte imbalance is a key and critical problem. Water carries everything: oxygen, nutrients, immune cells. Um, and so, how you balance your intake of that is extremely critical, right? And then oxygen, get outside, get involved. Make sure your immune system is updating the database, as I say. So while you're out and about, sunlight is critical for your body creating and formulating vitamin D, which the liver uses to produce hormones. So your hormones are produced. One of the key components of your hormones is cholesterol. And we talk about cholesterol being a bad thing, but cholesterol is actually pretty good. It's very good, actually. And your body uses vitamin D to produce cholesterol, which lines all of your brain cells, lines all of your cell membranes. Your body uses it to produce healthy hormones. So if you have hormone imbalance, it's probably a liver issue more so than anything else. And then we have to start with the liver and clean everybody else up. So, in a nutshell, I'll be quiet now because I
Ooh,
have to go. My brain
listen,
just runs
th-
five
th-
thousand miles an hour. You got me at
listen.
7 a.m., so we ready to go.
Diane Mapp says, "Wow, child abuse. What? I'm telling. I kept telling everybody you could see everything through the eyes. I will go see 5 doctors, and I come and see you. You look at my eyes. You go, hey, you're fine. This is what you're fine. This is going right. You're gonna be fine. You're fine. But I listen to you. And but the sun." You are absolutely correct. For you all, for those of us that go out in our garden or go take a walk, that sun. When we talk about we walk PHL, go walk, y'all. Get it. How many minutes of sun do they need to get a day in order for
At
them to?
minimum, so at minimum, I would say 20 minutes at minimum, right? Your body needs some direct skin exposure. So that can be you driving with your hand hanging out the window, your elbow. I mean, a little piece has to be shown, right?
Yes.
Um, your body needs that. And so we have historically, our parents and grandparents were outdoors playing all the time. They
Yes.
lived through lead, asbestos,
Mhm.
tetanus. I mean, they played with rusty nails. People will step on stuff, and you'll hear the stories and just
Mhm.
got clench your pearls because they'll say, "Oh, remember when little Joe, got electrocuted and he jumped up and kept on running." Their immune systems were fully charged, right?
Wow.
Vitamin D is a critical component of your immune system, and so you have a lot of people having are deficient because nowadays we're indoors most of the time. The children, especially, are weaker immunologically. You see a lot of allergies and stuff, primarily because they're deficient, right? And so
Wow.
we have to reverse all of those things and be more intentional in our health. Um, and you'll feel better too just by being outside. So get outside.
Yeah. And so,
Go for
so,
go for a walk. Yeah.
so what do you say to people who are on 17 different kinds of medications because the doctors tell them this and that. Yeah, Tammy says we drank from hoses. Jasenia says, hold that question for a second because I've got a lot to ask you. Jasenia says, I used to get redness in my left eye. I have been diagnosed with thyroid issues and high blood pressure. The redness stays for 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, that's common. Well, so here's the thing. If her thyroid is dysregulated, the coating outside of the thyroid gland actually resembles the outer coating of the membrane in the eye. And so when the thyroid gland is inflamed or has a little bit of dysbiosis, so it's a little unstable,
Mm-hmm.
it can inflame and affect the eye as well. So you have those people who have chronic dry eye that nothing seems to help. There are
Yeah.
many different, it may seem like your eyes may feel dry, but there are many different types on the spectrum. It can be
Mm-hmm.
just from you being aqueous deficient, meaning you're not drinking enough water, and that's
Mm-hmm.
plain. You can have immunologic, which are people who have like thyroid disease, which is more of
Mm-hmm.
an autoimmune type issues.
Mm-hmm.
It can be induced from medications or hormone imbalances,
Yes.
which is a subset of the thyroid disorder, but not as aggressive in terms of having and soliciting an immune response.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, it can just be toxic, right? Stop
Right.
using trashy products because that'll cause it. If you're using different types of mascara and lotions and
Stop
things
it.
like that,
Stop it,
it you
Jesus.
know
Stop it.
it will
Stop it, Dr.
elicit a
Major.
response
Stop
as well.
it.
But there's a spectrum, right, that causes all of those things. In her case, it may more than likely be an autoimmune factor if it's
Yes.
kind of along that well, but it
Yeah.
has to be evaluated.
Ooh. Okay. Here she says I also have a dry eyes. Yeah, that's something
Mhm.
that I've got going on with myself too. Now my thyroid was taken out in 1995. All of it, including the parathyroids. Is that why my behind is going through all of this stuff that I'm going through?
Yes. and
And so,
but
other than
but
taking medication, what could I do for not having a thyroid? Because remember, I was 150 pounds soaking wet before my thyroid was taken out. I gained almost 100 pounds. Like we've been literally working to make sure that I stay in a regular space. But what can I?
yeah.
You told me the cola nut. The cola nut.
Well, it's one of the things that works very well. But there are many different things, right?
Mm-hmm,
We have to manage and balancing out the hormones.
mm-hmm.
That starts, remember, hormonal issues starts with the liver.
Jesus.
It starts with the liver. So the liver is what regulates, it does the filtration for your
Mm-hmm,
body. It breaks
mm-hmm,
down nutrients, medications, and that's what acts as a gateway so the body can create hormones that are going to give instruction on what proteins and
mm-hmm,
elements it needs to function properly.
mm-hmm.
So we have to kind of take a step back. You not having that organ is critical. Remember what I said before, 50
Mm-hmm.
hormones run your body.
Mm-hmm.
37 of those hormones are influenced by the thyroid
Thyroid. Yeah.
gland.
Yeah.
So you not having that gland that is critical in terms of transmission of information, um, yeah, puts you in a unique position, but we have to make sure we focus heavily on your liver and that the liver is functioning properly, right? So that's why, considering, look at what from the time we met to now, right?
Ah, you have
I
telling me you
remember.
saved my life. I have been telling people you have saved my entire, and I keep shouting it from the rooftops. They must have thought you were a figment of my imagination. Because who the hell is this Dr. Archima? I went to see my primary care. She said, "You're in great health. You're strong as hell." And I keep going, Dr. Archima. I don't know what else to tell anybody. I go see my chiropractor. I am literally horse kicking him off the table. He's like, "Why are you so strong?" He's holding with both his hands and he's struggling. Dr. Majors. And so, one of the things about you is that you don't like to prescribe medication and you want us to use food to heal.
Well, look at it this way. Look at it this way. I mean, that's a very simple issue, right? The
Mhm.
body works on very simple principles: good in, good out,
Bad in,
trash in, trash
trash
out.
in.
And it's been around for thousands of years. Your body knows what's natural, right?
Mhm.
Versus what's synthetic. Most medications are synthetic. Not to say that allopathic medicine doesn't have a place, because we have a spectrum.
Right.
Um, but I think, and that's one of the reasons why my practice and my focus is more accountable and responsible healthcare.
Mhm.
People need to know, because what you don't know or what you're choosing to ignore is killing you.
You.
So you're on 17 medications, you're dying. And the medications are not fixing the problem. They're masking the symptoms. We're symptom driven. And so I think you and I had a conversation about even in terms of cardiovascular health,
Yes.
people are saying, oh, I'm feeling okay. I think our system of healthcare is so symptom driven. Um, but people don't realize that by the time you notice palpitations or you're noticing a symptomatic cardiovascular issue, you've likely lost, yes, lost, meaning gone, 40% of cardiac function. Think about that. So
Wow.
if I'm waiting for you to come to me with a symptom, that we're way behind the eight ball. So we have to, in our labs, laboratory testing is so shallow that it's not going to detect things. And so it's one of those things that even as a provider, we're fighting from provider to provider. I'm fighting with endocrinologists, primary care internists. I mean, they usually come back around after they actually do the test forcibly and see that I was
Mhm.
right. But it's
Yes.
not a matter of saying that I'm right or I'm wrong. I don't really care if I'm right or wrong. What matters is that we get the qualifying information so that you, as a patient, you're fully aware of what your responsibility is. The choices are yours, but so are the consequences. So
Right.
every time you pick up to and eat something that you know is not good for you, right? There's a consequence to that. Your body doesn't just avoid it or just, oh, we're just going to have a pass. No, that item being placed in your body has a direct consequence. So we have to
Mhm.
be more self aware. We have to be more intentional
Mhm.
because this is $45 million. It was qualified, I think, in 2022 that you're walking around with. And so and you can't replace it. So
Yes.
you either take care of it or you lose it. And when you do, unfortunately, I mean, there's nothing we can do but give you medications and drugs to have to keep you along. But
Right.
there are active choices and things we can do, regimen. I mean, as you know, that can be livable and
Mhm.
tangible, and you don't
Mhm.
have to necessarily drink soup all the time. You can be a
Right.
foodie. I'm a foodie.
Wow.
You
Diane
know.
Mapp says, how can we follow this amazing human? I've been telling y'all for years. She's amazing. She's amazing. Erica says, can you reverse cardiac loss?
Yes.
Thank you
We
for
couldn't
saying.
do that. We didn't know. Well, that's the short answer.
Mhm.
Um, there's a whole branch of medicine now called epigenetics, and that's the whole root of epigenetics. There are things for a long time people would say, "Oh, it runs in my family," and that's
That part.
just yeah. Oh, it runs in my family. Yeah. So what does that have to do with? It's probably running in the family because all of you biologically
Yes.
are similar, and you're all doing the wrong things.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
these traditions, I think we need to have more real conversations. And I tell my
Yeah.
patients, I said, that's why we don't have any windows, right? Because
Yeah.
nobody can see what goes down in the room. But we need to have these real conversations. There are quicker
Mhm.
ways to kill yourself, and you're doing it and just not knowing. Like people who have high A1Cs, do you know what high elevated hemoglobin A1C means? Your
Mhm.
cells are dying faster,
Wow.
right? And so it's not just a number. You need to understand what these numbers mean. And so that's kind
Mhm.
of why I started. Well, we started this when I met you, what, 6, 7 years ago? We would talk
2018 was
about
when
it.
we met. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so we would dialogue more about it, but that's kind of why I started Nourish RX to really educate people more. Even if they have their lives and they don't understand, we'll schedule a consultation to review them so you have an understanding of what each of these numbers mean. Because normal is not healthy. Like they'll tell you on the labs, your vitamin D level at 30 is normal. Guess what? Healthy ranges start at 50 and above. So you're still immunocompromised. You're wondering why you have allergies, right? And all of these sensitivities. Your vitamin D may be low. Your immune system is easily triggered. So we have to understand um, things pertaining to ourselves. I don't care what it says about everybody else. I'm
Right.
only concerned about me because this is what I'm responsible for.
Right.
And
Right.
I think if we're leading with that, you're going to see our outcomes are going to be so much more so much more sustainable, right? And so much more impactful. Um, but yeah, it's something we have to be diligent about. You have to
Yeah.
understand how to talk to your doctor when you're going to your appointments. Don't just give vague answers. Oh, I'm feeling like no. When you experience a symptom, write it down.
Mhm.
be clear. I feel pain. It hurts here. It lasts for this amount of time. And you want to be on record, right? You have a lot of patients now who are anemic. It runs in our family, especially people who look like us.
Mhm.
It runs in my family. And, I've been told I'm anemic and I'm taking iron. Well, anemia isn't always iron based. You may be diagnosed as being pre-diabetic and think you're diabetic, and it could be because you're anemic also. That could show
Shut
up as the
up.
elevated A1C. So anemia is oxygen getting to tissues or lack thereof. Has to do with oxygen, not enough oxygen getting to the tissues. So you have a lot of these things that are trending, right? And people think it's cool. Oh, I'm anemic. I've been anemic for a while. It runs in my family. I just take my iron. You're killing your liver and you're killing yourself, because that means you don't have enough oxygen. So you walking around with triple mask on all the time. You're saying that's okay. How does
Wow.
that feel? Right?
Yeah.
You try to walk around for 15 minutes with three mask on and see how that feels. How comfortable is that? Because that's what you're telling yourselves. That's what's going on, but you're not doing anything about it, and you're not holding your provider accountable
Yeah.
for them to investigate that. So if I have anemia and you've diagnosed that, I mean, thankfully they actually diagnosed it. Well, what are we going to do about it? Because that's not a state to remain in chronically. That's dementia coming down the line 10, 15 years from now. Because no oxygen getting to tissue, things die, right? Oxygen
Right.
is the only nutrient that your body cannot live without for 9 minutes. So even at Nourish RX now, we have oxygen therapy where
Yeah.
people can come in and just sit and have some oxygen infuse the cells. So, to help your airway, to help your tissues. Because remember, viruses, bacteria, parasites can live in an oxygenated environment. So you hear people talking about hyperbaric chambers and things like that, especially post COVID, right? People were doing more and more of that, but you
But
need
it
to
seems
get
to be
out.
only for the wealthy, Dr. Artema. It
Well,
seems to
not
only be for
anymore.
the wealthy people.
Well, not anymore. That's what I'm saying. So we got it at Nourish RX now. You can come and get oxygen therapy.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
think it's like $1 a minute or something like that. So it's pretty.
$1 a
it's
minute. Okay, we can
it's
do this. We can
can sit
absolutely
there
do
and
this.
get some oxygen, and there are different things too. So people set up health consultations. There are things you can do at home to kind of further oxygenate your body as
Mhm.
well. But we need to be more diligent and responsible, right?
Hold on, Erica. We're going to ask all those questions. She said, can I please have the information for Norisa? Sit still for a minute because I'm going to ask her all the information because you can't follow her. You just got to go see her. She's not on Instagram like that where you can just follow her.
And
Um,
it's so funny. My introverted self would not let me be on social media.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a challenge overall, but you know where to find me.
I know where to find you. One of the things you said to me when you said I was anemic was to sprouts,
Correct.
right?
Alfalfa.
Alfalfa
Alfalfa.
sprouts. Put that sucker on top of my food. I said,
Mhm.
Black Jesus, what is going on? It is amazing how the simple things can make a difference. And I need to go back to eating my
Correct.
alfalfa sprouts because I put it in my soup. I put it on top of my food when I'm eating. I put it in my
And it
shakes.
tastes like nothing, right? So
Tastes
it's not
like
really
nothing.
taken away from your meal, but
Yeah.
it's extremely nutrient dense. And especially for women and our hormones, it's extremely nutrient dense. So, and you can get it in the powder, organic powder, and just sprinkle in your
Yes.
food.
And put it in
So,
your shake. Yeah. Oh my
correct.
God. Ooh. Monica says, wow, you just said a million. Anemia is dementia coming down the lane. Oh my God. She said, I am listening hard. See what I'm talking about? This is why I kept telling you need to be on here. Uh uh um listen to this. Shakira says, my husband goes to a place to get in the hyperbaric chamber a minimum once a week. When he was going 3 days a week, his A1C dropped dramatically, even though
Correct.
he was going for wound healing. You have
Correct.
not looked like okay, we all going to Nourish
Oxygen.
RX to go get
Oxygen.
some oxygen.
Oxygen. Oxygen. Oxygen. First of all, oxygen makes everything feel better. Okay,
Wow.
everything feels better. So just
Wow.
in general, and well, on the plane, I'll just say this as a sidebar. On the plane, some of us, very few of us are sensitive to when you get above a certain cabin
Mhm,
pressure,
mhm,
they drop the oxygen level.
mhm.
I will feel it when it changes when I'm on the plane. So I remember traveling on a really hootie patootie airline. And I got up once they shifted it, because they'll see when a lot of people are sleeping, they'll shut down the oxygen level.
Wow.
And so I felt it. And so I went up, I got up to, you pushed a little button or whatever. And she was just taking a little longer than I expected, considering how much I paid for my ticket, right? So I stood up and just kind of fell back in my seat and, fainted. And so here she comes. Oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm like, I need oxygen. Turn the oxygen back on. So they turned it on. 10 minutes later, girlfriend was back. But it was amazing. And they had to stop me after. Of course, they had this whole incident report they had to do. But she was asking, like, how did you know? I said, because my
Mm.
body is used to a certain level of oxygenation. So
Wow.
once you shifted it, I
Wow.
physically felt it though. But most people probably won't feel it because they're used to being in an anemic state. So just simple
Ooh,
things,
Heather.
right? But we have to, there are lots that can be done. There are lots that we can do. Like I said, 75% of health. Drinking water, 100% under your control. Sleeping, 100% under your control. Going for a walk and staying outside, 100% under your control. Those three things are 75% of health.
Mm.
If you master those three
What
things,
happens
you've
if you
conquered
cannot
75%
fall
of this.
asleep and stay asleep, especially in these menopausal spaces that we're in?
What do you mean you cannot fall asleep? You
If
can,
I
you can,
fall
you
asleep, but I'll sleep for
no.
4 hours and then pop back up. What
But
happened?
you're
What can we do to keep us sleeping?
so for women in general, right? I'll say most people, your circadian rhythm parallels daylight. Your eating cycle for women in terms of your hormonal health. Your eating cycle should parallel daylight. You should not be eating when it's dark.
Agreed.
Kitchen's closed. Kitchen's
Mhm.
closed. Kitchen's closed. Right? So that's how your body interprets it. Your digestion and everything slows. And then you want to remember, we talk about our eyes. Here go your eyeballs again. 85% of your brain is going to be wired based on what you're putting in within those 2 hours before you go to sleep.
Wow.
So you don't want to be doing a lot of digital work. You don't want to be doing, and especially if you're working with digital media most of the day, at the end of the day, you should be staying away from that,
Calm
right?
down.
Your
Yeah.
brain needs time to calm down. We
Mhm.
tell people to take melatonin as well. Melatonin is a hormone that helps to regulate your circadian rhythm. So
Mhm.
as you get older, you do lose your capacity for melatonin. The melanocytes lose that quality and that hormone. So you
Mhm.
can add melatonin. 3 milligrams is where we say start. For more often than not, 10 milligrams seems to work best, but I'll say titrate yourself up, maybe 3 milligrams a week and see how you fare. You can do some healthy fats would be
Okay.
good too. Because sometimes your cortisol level, back to your liver,
Okay.
your stressors, right? Your
Okay.
cortisol level is what wakes you up.
Okay.
So if you're waking up, that means your cortisol is spiking at odd hours. Your circadian rhythm is off. If you're waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning and daylight ain't till 6:30, your cortisol is what spikes and that's what wakes you up.
Okay.
So we'll tell people do a cortisol test. You can do a 24-hour salivary test or have your doctor order it to see when your spikes are during the day, and that'll
Mhm.
give you an idea. So you know what they are, right? That's one. Two, you can do some healthy fats before you go to bed. So whether it's cod liver oil, I love fermented cod liver oil. You can do organic olive oil, and it's interesting. There's this little store in Bucks County that's has different types of olive oil from different regions, right? And you
Mhm.
can taste it. So the olive, biologically, we're all different. And so the olive oil that's good for you should burn your throat when you take a swig of it.
What?
So
What?
organic olive oil, you should take. So I would, or I swear, I've given them a lot of play because I send a lot of people there
Mhm.
just because they have it for tasting. But
Mhm.
you can test it out and see. You could do a few tablespoons of olive oil before you go to bed. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, if that's what you have.
Right.
fermented cod liver oil. For my patients who do vitamin D with
Mhm.
NCT oil, I prefer for them to take it at that time because it helps
Mhm.
you stay asleep longer.
Wow.
Your spikes overall may be related to your cortisol being off, and that's a liver function
Right.
and your adrenal glands. Um, and then also, like I said, your melatonin may be lowering over time. And that's not uncommon. That's why, our seniors tend to wake up before the crack of dawn and things like
Yeah.
that.
So I go
But
to bed really early. So let's say I'm sleeping by 8 o'clock and I wake up at 3. Is that good?
are you looking for me to
Yes, because
co-sign?
I need to be on the
You
air at
looking, you
5:30,
looking for me?
6 o'clock.
Looking for me to co-sign your bad behavior? So your body goes into healing mode, right? For
Yes.
everybody,
Yes.
regardless of time zone, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.
Ah.
So a lot of people who tend to work overnight, unfortunately, have a shorter lifespan by 10 to 15 years because they're working during that repair cycle.
Oh, so for people who work the 12, the midnight shift.
Correct. Right. So they tend to be a higher risk for certain conditions by virtue of what they're doing because they're missing that period,
So
right?
firefighters, police officers, nurses.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
why
And
when they
so,
so there's research that shows within 10 years of them retiring, they die.
correct.
Oh hell no. They need to be paid better. I'm sorry.
You
This
well,
this
I
is
mean, that's the
crazy.
thing. So we talk about all of it, right? We talk about your health, we talk about the stressors, we talk about and your financial health, right? Because 70% of the stress is financial. So people getting themselves together, we'll give you counseling. We got resources for that too, right? Help you fix your life all the way around. But
Wow.
we want to, like I said, when we talk about wellness, we got to talk about mental, physical, spiritual. All of those things matter. Yeah, there's a full spectrum of care that we have to interject, implement, and execute. Right?
So
Baby fat ain't cute. Stop feeding your kids. We got the 27-year-olds now, especially post COVID. A lot of people were um self-treating with vitamin D, not knowing that it's a hormone primarily. You have to be instructed on how to take it. You can't just take it. And because it's fat soluble, you can
okay.
have toxic levels develop in your liver and your tissues that can kill you. And so you have a lot of people who ended up with fatty liver disease,
From
rendering
just
them
swiping vitamins.
pre-diabetic. Right, rendering them pre-diabetic, right, by virtue of over medicating with over-the-counter vitamin D. So don't just go start taking medications. Black seed oil, seed oils, and things are sometimes toxic. So don't just start taking stuff just because you see it on social media or somebody else said it worked for them. Make sure it actually works for you. Remember, we talked about the the broccoli issue. You and I
Yes.
talked about it. That
Yes.
some people are like, oh,
You,
broccoli is great.
yeah.
Broccoli ain't great for everybody.
You
Broccoli
looked in
can
my
be killing people.
you looked in my eyes and was like, stop eating broccoli, the white part of your family, the Scandinavian. I see these white dots. Stop eating broccoli. And I love broccoli. That was the thing I was eating. So I had to do the broth.
Broccoli.
Yeah.
Yeah, the broccoli or
Yes.
broccoli. Yeah. But that's the thing.
Jesus.
So just because it works for somebody else doesn't mean
I
it
mean, it
works for
will work
you.
for you. Right.
Correct.
Right.
And so things may seem healthy, but may not be healthy for you. So we got to get back to personalized healthcare, right? We got to get back to, and so when you step into the room with your provider, make sure they have your attention and they understand that you may see thousands of patients, but right now is my time. We need to focus on me, what pertains to
Yes.
me, hold
Yes.
them accountable for it. And if they're
Yes.
not willing to do that, you're going to have a conversation with them. Don't just leave because sometimes people don't know what they don't know. So afford them the opportunity and the courtesy of letting them know that, hey, I think you're dropping the ball with regards to my care because I've come to you with these issues. I don't just want a medication. I need you to give me tangible ways I can work through this. And if they're not doing it, then you report them to the insurance company.
This is Donna says, "Where's the olive oil shop in Bucks County?"
Aha. How much you gonna pay me, Donna? It's called it's called Extra Virgin. It's in Peddler's Village.
Ah,
It's
okay.
called Extra Virgin. But yeah, they have They're different from different regions, and they have the free tasting. You can sample, see which region
Okay.
works best for you.
Okay. Okay.
But it's good, and you should be doing, some healthy fats every day. Is great for your
Okay.
liver. Starting your day out with it is actually really good because it
Okay.
sets the tone also for your hormones.
Okay. So are we starting with healthy fats and ending with healthy fats? Is that what we're
Yes.
doing?
Mhm.
You about to
Your
change?
brain is encased in healthy fats. Your hormones need healthy fats.
Okay. Okay. So olive oil. You said something else. Fermented cod liver oil.
Oh, yes.
You can just buy that at any store.
Well, depends. Y'all
Right.
trying to
Okay.
get me to give all these people, extra
I know.
advertising,
I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you
extra
because
advertising.
growing up, we did cod liver oil all
Correct.
the
But
time.
fermented cod liver oil and concentrated butter is next level. Like I've had a
Yeah.
patient where, I saw him for the first time.
Mhm.
His arteries looked like toothpaste.
Ooh.
And so I just told him, I said, sir, you're cruising for a stroke. So since we're doing this hot potato thing, I'm not going to be the last one who saw you before you stroke.
Right.
I'm going to put you on this. I had him do in the gel form, fermented cod liver oil. I had him do 2 teaspoons before bed at nighttime.
Mhm.
And in 6 weeks, when we tested his cholesterol level, it was almost 600. We brought it down by 300 points in 6 weeks. Now,
You say 600?
mind you, yeah. So mind you, I know you can clench your pearls on that. Yeah, I'll give you a moment to catch your breath, which I didn't even know. And he and his cardiologist had been fighting with this for almost 18 years. And so I
Wow.
ran into him in the grocery store. He's like, "Oh my God, Dr. Major, I was about to call you." I said, "No, you weren't. Where's your homework? Weren't you supposed to give me your results?" And he's like, "Oh, my cardiologist is happy. He wants to know what I did." And I told him, "It's just that stuff you got me taking before I go to bed. That's the only thing I've been doing." But it
Wow.
works tremendously. It works well for patients who've had strokes,
Yeah.
to help them recover symptoms. Some patients I may be seeing, 6 months, 8 months after they had a stroke, and I can get them to recover some of their symptoms that have been since their functions that have been lost during with the stroke from use of fermented cod liver oil. But again, like I said, don't just go start buying stuff. You got to
Right.
make sure we evaluate your levels, make sure it's appropriate and it's healthy fat, right? It'll increase your
Yes.
good cholesterol, it'll reduce the bad ones. Total cholesterol being high, let me just, it's a good segue. You having high total cholesterol is not a bad thing. That's actually great for your brain. The higher your total cholesterol is, the better your brain function is.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
So when people are looking at that lipid panel, there's certain markers on that lipid panel that are actually the worst. The VLDL, very low density lipoprotein, it's like sludge in your blood. Extremely dangerous. That stuff will kill you. Triglycerides are way more damaging to your heart and cardiovascular health than your cholesterol. But me seeing cholesterol in your arteries, so think about it this way: cholesterol responds to injury. So if you get a cut on your skin and you form a scab, that scab is cholesterol.
Wow.
Okay, so it's a good thing. It's a healthy part of your immune response. There in a cut, it's actually preventing breach of the barrier. It's preventing stuff from the outside penetrating your immune system and getting through. Your skin being your largest organ and your largest part of your immune system. So we want it there covering. I do not want it blocking the walls and the arteries. If I see cholesterol plaques lining your arteries, that means there's been injury. So you got little scabs along the artery. That's resistant to blood flow. It's going to cause your heart to work harder. If your heart is working harder, the muscle gets larger. The larger the muscle gets, the weaker it gets. Here comes heart failure. So,
I'm tired.
yeah.
I just got this question. Can people who are allergic to fish still take cod liver oil? Fish and nuts still take cod liver oil?
There are different types, yes.
They're different types. So how
But
would
I
they
mean,
know?
do you have a true allergy though? Or is it just a gut sensitivity?
That part? And they break out in eczema. Could that all
Correct.
be related?
Well, Yeah, but eczema is it's a liver issue.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It's an
Okay.
immune response, but it's primarily a liver problem.
The liver. Right. So Ji says, now you know our primary care physician doesn't explain it like this. They never do, which is why I come and see that. I call Dr. Archim. Dr. Archim is such and such and such and such. Dr. Archim is such and such and such. I'm going back to get my alfalfa sprouts. All my doctors are saying that I am the most compliant patient they've ever had. But the reason I'm compliant is because I'm listening to you. And so when they see me and they see my test results, they're like, "Well, wait, what is happening here?" Right? And it's hard for me. It's hard for me to explain because the average doctor says, "Take this medication, take that medication." Like when I was diagnosed as diabetic, they wanted me to put me on this thing, this statin, because more than likely diabetics will have, high cholesterol and that could have a heart attack. And I looked at them and I said, "Thank you for the part you played in my journey. Click, move on. I'll take that stuff because I don't need to take it because I'm listening to you. So I'm using the things that will heal my body." Shakila says, "Andrea, just go on and schedule her for a regular spot because this is a lot.
You know
My
what?
heart rate
No,
is worth my
I
brain
can't.
out this morning. It's because there's so much. And so when I come on here and I'm telling you all what and what is, eat our hair, all of it. I remember she made me take some blood work because I was having this issue after I took my vaccine and my heart was hurting and it was all this other stuff. And my insurance would not cover it.
Right.
She took hair
Spike protein.
follicles. She took some of my stools. She took all the and they took so much blood. And she sat me down and read me down. And she said, "Do this, do this, do this." And I'm telling you, you see me? Do you see me today? Every doctor is like, "Well, what the hell? What is going on?" I was like, "Dr. Archibald, I don't know what to tell you." But it lit, and I didn't have to take medication. What she did was help me to replace the nutrients that I was losing in my body by telling me to do certain things. And I've been telling people we're literally walking dead out here. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally.
It's sad.
And
It's
it's
sad.
it's very sad. It's very sad.
And
And
you're
it's just
seeing, you're
easier to
seeing it's trending differently now. And I think it's one of the things that's really disheartening for me because I'm always wondering, when is it going to be enough? When is it going to cause people to get to the moment of you have 27-year-old. I had a 27-year-old month ago that had a stroke. We lost Tracy,
yes. Yeah,
44
Tracy
year old
Powell, yeah.
unresponsible. We're seeing these things trending, things that we don't know. What are the silent things that are going on? And with regards to what you said, after you had um you were vaccinated, COVID vaccine, COVID-19, and I'm in global health, so that's a completely other a completely other other issue
Mhm,
to dialogue
mhm.
through. But it's a spike protein, and people don't
Yeah.
understand spike proteins are proteins on the surface of viruses that enables viruses to penetrate your cells and bypass your DNA. So I'm gonna let that sink in for a little bit. That's akin to you're sleeping in your house, all cuddled up, and at 2 a.m. in the morning, you hear the smoke alarm going off, and you come downstairs and see some random hobo in your kitchen using your oven as a smoker, right? And things just going all haywire. It'll cause and solicit. The purpose of spike proteins are to elicit immune responses. Now, I'm a big proponent of informed consent. I can't make any choices for you. Your body, your personhood is your personhood. That's between you and your God. My goal and my responsibility is to educate and inform you so that when you're making those choices, you're making the right ones for yourselves, right?
Mhm,
Because the choices and the consequences are yours. Spike
mhm,
protein has the propensity to elicit immune responses. My biggest issue was that people were not informed, people were not assessed to see what were
mhm,
they on the brink of prior
mhm,
to them being inoculated. And
mhm,
we saw a lot of vaccine injury,
mhm,
we saw a lot of cardiovascular issues. And like you
mhm,
said, for you started to be symptomatic with the palpitations and stuff,
mhm,
which was the spike. So we had to employ
mhm.
a strategy to
And my
clear
blood
and
work and my
remove
blood
the
work
spike
bore it
protein.
out. Right.
Correct. It did.
You
It
were
did.
like,
You were
"It should
some
be a
levels
one,
were
it's
three, four.
11. Okay, come see us
Correct.
right now." Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we have to. We have to really employ healthy measures, and we got to be intentional and
Yeah.
responsible
Yeah.
to see what's there first.
Yeah.
We can't start treating until we clean out the body, reassess, see the body will tell you what systems are working, what systems are not working. So it's targeted and it's smart enough to know if I need vitamin B1, do not give me a multivitamin. I asked you for B1. I did not ask you for
But in
they
order for that
cannot
to
plug
happen,
into
then
the
you
same
have to get the.
receptors.
But in order for that to happen, you have to get the blood work that shows what your body needs. Most of these blood tests that we're being given, it doesn't cover these things. So how the hell are we
Well,
supposed to know?
but see, let's backtrack though. That goes back to what I said before as far as people um communicating with their doctors in ways where they're clear, right? Don't be vague about your symptoms overall. I'm having cold hands and feet. There are certain things that need to be checked. If I have cold hands and feet, you need to do an anemia panel. You need to check my thyroids. For all women, you should be getting your hormones checked at least twice a year because you need to know where you peak and trough. Um, because it does matter, right? So there, whether they decide to do it in pieces, whoever's going to be doing it, I need it to be done. You have an internist who's your primary care, that's your gatekeeper. They should be collecting all the data and they should be going through it with you. Normal is not healthy. So, and if they won't do it, come to Nourish RX. We'll do it for you.
All right. Tell people how they can find you. Now, I've been in your office where people called and said, Andrea sent me. Jesus, forgive me,
Yeah,
because your
yeah,
office phone keeps ringing.
I know.
How
I
can
know.
people
It's a blessing.
how can
It's
people
a
find you?
blessing.
Huh?
I said it's a blessing. Thank
It
you.
is. It is. It is.
So I Innovations, we're in Drexel Hill. So our website there's I Innovations, that's the word EYE,
Mm-hmm.
innovations.net.
Mm-hmm.
And the phone number there is 610-446-3939.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah. And then Nourish RX, which is new. I've opened that in Ballard Kenwood. Um,
Oh, I've been there.
and
Yes. So, so,
you
so can I schedule an oxygen?
look at you. Yeah.
This is
Yes,
what
you
I
can.
need.
So with Nourish RX,
Mhm.
it's our website is thenourishrx.com. That's THE, the word nourish, NOURISHRX.com. Phone number is 215-574
Mhm.
1698, and you can text that number. Our nurse Crystal will she's very
Mhm.
quick to respond. And
Okay.
then or you can reach out and contact us through the website as well.
All right. So
um
215-574-1698. And when you reach out to them, tell them mother sent you. I love
I
people.
know, right? I know, right? And so, I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, we're doing all kinds of stuff at Nourish RX. We do the
Yes.
nutritional counseling, we do the
Yes.
investigative diagnostics.
Wow.
If you just want to know, I mean, there's like a threshold investigative blood panel, right?
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
includes your blood typing, because a lot of people need to
Yeah.
know and they don't know,
Yeah.
and their doctors
Yeah.
tell them, oh, it's so expensive. It's like
Is that
$30.
is that is that covered by insurance in any way? So let's say you have Blue Cross. Will that testing now be covered by insurance?
No, a lot of them actually stopped covering it. Like Highmark stopped covering it as of January of this year,
Because
and
they
other
don't
people
want they yeah.
they don't want you to know,
Yeah.
and they want to perpetuate this issue of I feel fine, so I must be fine, and that is completely false. Because a
Yeah.
lot of things may be brewing underneath, and you may not know until you enter
Mhm.
a crisis, and they
Right.
may be your last, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Um,
Erica
and
says, "Do
so,
you recommend an eye exam first, then Nourish RX?"
uh, depends on what's going on. They
Yeah, she
work
said
hand in hand.
hand
You
in
can do
hand.
either or.
Yeah.
But yeah, the eye exam will let me physically see the tissue.
Yes.
But we'll still have to do the labs and stuff for your body to tell us where
Mhm.
you are before we have any targeted nutrition implemented.
So she does take insurance. You go into
But
her office. Nourish RX takes any insurance at all?
no, Nourish RX does not.
And take insurance. Right. Okay. So you go to her office for the eye exam. All of that is insurance. She covers insurance. Insurance covers that.
Correct.
Um, So yeah. So how I started with her was the eyes, and I still go
Mhm.
every
Yeah,
year to
you
get
should
my eyes checked.
evaluate it at least once a year because that's a visual inspection, right? We're looking at the
Yes.
tissue, we're seeing
Mhm.
improvement, um, and if anything is likely to show up. So one
Right.
of the reasons why they say that people with diabetes should always get their eyes evaluated is
Yes.
because the breakdown in the kidney will be seen in the eye before it shows up on your blood test. So if we're not checking, you just don't know. Mm.
Right. Yeah, because you also checked my kidneys and you said your kidneys are humming along just fine.
Yep.
I said, how? Thank God for you. Thank God for you. Thank God for
Oh,
you.
bless you. Thank you. Thank you. I had a patient last week. I'm like, oh, you've been having lower back pain? He's like, how'd you know? I said, because you have kidney stones. So you better go get it cleaned out.
Ooh,
you, you better go get it cleaned out.
you
But
saw
that's
all
the
of
thing.
that
I
through
mean,
her
like I
eyes.
said, so I'm sorry.
You saw all of that through her eyes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's sometimes it's hilarious though. I mean, I must say it is funny because it's like forensics, right? It's CSI eyeball. But
All right.
it's good to be able to help people and help them understand because we don't have to make it so scientific. It
Right.
has to be understandable so that you're aware of what you can do to kind of
Mhm.
improve the situations. And there's seldom anything that we can't do anything about.
Oh
So
my! Did you say that? Say that again. There's seldom. There's things that you
anything.
can't do anything about. Mm-mm-mm.
Mhm.
I'm typing for Bobby. So Bobby, you'll see the number to call the eye office, and then I'm putting in 215. Lord, you're gonna call me and fuss. 574-1698 for Nourish RX,
Nourish
right?
RX. And yeah, Nourish RX, we do hydration therapy, we do IV infusions, vitamin C. I mean, the things that for the longest time, I would ask providers, like, can you just have the patient do A, B, C, or D? Because I'm in specialty care. So a lot of
Mhm.
stuff go through, you'll need your referral through your primary
Right,
care
right.
provider. Um, to listen, and I don't mind, we work as a system. I inform them and educate them, like, hey, I think ABC or D is going on, I'm seeing
Mhm,
signs of kidney insufficiency, or no,
mhm,
we need to bring in nephrology now, they need
mhm,
to see an endocrinologist because I'm seeing hormonal imbalance issues
mhm.
or whatever. Now what they choose to do with the information, unfortunately, I have no responsibility on. There's some
Right.
doctors that I would email the list of labs, like, I need you, I've already done the work, I need you to just order these and
Mhm.
then let's go from there. And if they are able to do it, that's fine. We just need the data.
Right.
Um, but more often than not, it's crazy. And I'm like, they're telling you the same things they've told me. Or if even if they said no, 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 no for everything, and I've seen the signs and I'm asking about the symptoms and we elicited the symptoms, they're still one and the same. Why are you not assessing it?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so we gotta be responsible, but then we gotta hold our providers accountable
Right.
also.
So you can look in my eyes and see my kidney function.
Yeah.
It's crazy as hell.
I mean, then that's the beauty of the
Yeah.
tissue, right? There are
Right.
different parts of the eye that actually are serviced by capillaries
Mhm.
specifically, and um, other tissues, right? If you have gout in your toe, it'll show up in your cornea, right? So we have people who I have one patient came in for emergency, and I had some of my residents rotate with me. Then when Crozier was open, I used to have some of the family and internal medicine residents rotate with me. um and she was just beside herself because she couldn't figure out why this guy was having this problem. So because I was the attending, so after she did her evaluation, I went in. I went in to see him, looked at him, and I said, oh, you went in on that shrimp this week." He said, oh, Dr. Major. I went into this whole, he didn't even realize, there's this restaurant, I guess, in Delaware that has
Yeah.
this huge seafood fest. He said, oh, that tower, I went in on. And then, so I just paused and he goes on for another minute. Then he catches, like, wait, how do you know I had shrimp?
Yes.
Because it's shrimp's payback. The shrimp is what's causing your problem right
Yeah.
now. That pain,
Wow.
that pain, you're feeling is because of all of the uric acid and stuff from the
Wow.
from the shrimp that caused that issue. So we had to get him on some steroids and stuff to calm the inflammation. But it was hilarious.
And that fixed him
He said,
just like
how'd
that.
you know? It showed up.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
so
um, Velvet, she does carry eyeglasses and contacts. It's all there. And then there's some Jesus there too. When you walk in there, the music got you all calm. And Dr. Major, I have said this privately 1,000 times. I have said it publicly on the air 2,000 times. But now I'm going to tell you publicly, thank you for saving my life. Thank you.
oh, bless you,
Thank
bless
you.
you.
Because I'm walking around. I said to somebody earlier this week that I was almost 60. They looked at me like, you better stop lying. I said, don't make me have to put out my license on you, okay? That's right. But you can see it in my skin. When I get my face on, Iris says, your skin is perfect. Like there's nothing wrong. It's the oxygenation, it's the water, it's the non-medication, the food, like alfalfa sprouts. I would have gone and taken iron tablets. She said, girl, just put some alfalfa sprouts on your food. And I did it. And it was like, oh,
Your
here
levels,
we
yeah,
go.
your levels was
Yeah,
down. Yeah.
yes,
But
yes.
that's
And
the
you can,
thing, it's good to be able to, and I'm humbled. I'm so glad to see the outcome, right, in your life and in the lives of all the patients that we see.
mhm,
And I'm,
mhm.
like I said, I'm blessed because of the thousands and thousands of patients. If I say I have 100 patients that are sick, it's probably that much, because they listen, and so they see the outcome. And the goal is to educate and inform, share with your friends, share with your family. We're not
Mhm,
holding on to the information, right? The
mhm.
goal is each one reach one. And if
Yeah,
we can do that, then we don't have to be the highest risk factor.
right.
You don't have to have the highest risk factor for everything under the sun. You
Absolutely.
happen to have, and especially having melanin in your skin is like a super gold drop, right? In terms of your genetic profile. And
Mhm.
so, but use those things, feed your body, feed your soul, stay away from toxic people.
Stay away from toxic
um,
people.
and
Speak the truth and speak it
but
ever. Cost
yeah,
it what you will. He
listen,
who
it's so
hides
funny.
wrongly does the wrong thing still. So let me tell you,
That's
let's just
good.
cap this off. Get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Take your
Yes, ma'am.
behind out into the sun at least 20 minutes a day. Stick your hand out the window and let the sun hit your elbow to
Something.
course through the rest of your body, right? And what was the third? Water. Drink lots and lots and lots of water. Those three
But
things alone will be a great start, and then you go see her because we're dying in these United States of America. The
Lord
food
help
that
us.
we're eating,
Lord
the
help
things
us.
that they
Yeah.
tell us that is good for us has not been good for us. And I'm telling you, I am a walking. I saw an internist some years ago. Everybody's like, come see me because I don't believe your A1C is under 6. I don't, and I'm going, and they kind of go, you are the only patient in our zip code,
That's crazy.
the
Absolutely.
only patient in our zip code that's been able to do this. And I talk to my friends, and I'm an example. I eat the food, and then I'll go drink a bunch of water, and then I'll go take a walk, or I'll go lay in the sun, or but I'm
Correct.
always constantly moving. And so I'm grateful to you. I'm leaving here. Oh, the alfalfa sprouts, you can't find it everywhere. So go to the Asian market. You'll usually find it in there. So do that, and then I am going to wring her hand to tell me where to get the fermented cod liver oil. And if you're nice to me, I'll let you know.
Tell them for a small fee.
Yes,
No,
doctor.
but the thing is, I mean, with fermented cod liver oil specifically, you want to make sure your levels are appropriate.
Okay.
But the company is called Green Pasture.
Green pasture.
Green
Okay.
Pasture. You want a fermented cod liver oil with concentrated butter. Yes, butter.
Mhm.
Good healthy butter though. But in
Butter.
terms of how you dose it is extremely critical,
Yes.
that we check your levels to make sure you're doing it appropriately. Because remember, fats get absorbed. They're fat soluble, right? So they don't. Your body doesn't necessarily excrete all of it. So you can build toxic levels, and we
If
don't
you're
want you
taking the wrong
worsening your.
amount.
If you
Okay.
already have fatty liver, you got
Okay.
to be cleaned out first before you start
Okay.
adding more fats, because we're not
Okay.
trying to overwhelm your liver.
Okay.
So
I don't have fatty liver, do I?
no, man, not anymore. Now, it's so funny. I wanted to. We have to do a side by side of the first day we met when
In
I was talking smack.
2018, when we
I
were
was
both
talking smack, and you didn't know who I was. It was so funny. I told her she needed to move her seat because she couldn't see. She couldn't
couldn't
see the
see.
screen, and I don't sit next to blind people. It's so funny. And she didn't know who I was. I didn't know who she was. It's hilarious. We got to do the before and after so they can
Yeah.
see you are.
Yes.
The biking and all this stuff. So I
Yes.
just thank God for you. I thank God for you, and you're an amazing individual. You shared your story, and you've impacted a lot of lives too.
Thank you.
It's not easy to stand on the side of truth. And every time somebody stands on the side of truth, there's always adversity, right? But
Yeah.
you've been a champion in terms of standing your ground 10 toes down. And so it's my prayer for you that God going to continue to kind of reward you immensely for what you've done and how you shared and impacted other people's lives through your story, through your journey.
Yeah.
That's amazing. People always watching, but we wanted to keep. It's like if you're gonna be a copycat, we want you to copy the right cat, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank you for
Yes.
being that and
Mhm.
sharing the information. And so I'm here
I
for as
love
long as I'm here.
you.
You
I'll
know,
see you soon. I'll find a reason to call you. I promise you.
I know. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
All right, darlings. This
Thank
episode of
you for
Mornings with
having me.
Mobile, we went to 820, Dr. Major. We went to 820. I know. I knew this was going to happen, though. People are
Lord have mercy.
writing notes. They're asking. I put the numbers in here so that they can do this. For those of you who are able to reach out to me and you missed something, call me because I wrote it down because I know somebody's going to call. Her office is in Drexel Hill. I've been there, done that. Ooh, I can't even tell you about the colon cleanse. Black Jesus. I said,
You
my
gotta
tummy
clean.
won't go down. I said, I'm full of doo-doo. She said, come to me. And the packet was $51. And I started, she says, you're going to lose a lot of weight from this. And I was like, yeah, what could I possibly? Yo, I called her. I said, I didn't know I had that much inside of me. She said, Andre, you have 40 feet of colon. My stomach came. We keep in all this stuff. And so it was amazing. Just, I love you. I can't say it enough. I love you. I'm glad we met that morning, that evening with Fun Times Magazine. We were both getting an award for being trailblazers in the city of Philadelphia. You looked at me, I looked at you. I came to see you, and my life completely changed. And so I am so grateful for you. Thank God, thank the ancestors that you chose to do what you did. This morning your stuff wasn't working because they didn't want you on here, right? The devil is always working because you are coming to impart excellent news to save people's life. Yeah, Erica, that colon cleanse. I'm trying to tell you. I got another bag. I was like, is it 6 months yet? Because I need to go back.
You know what? You know what? I can't.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's amazing. So when I'm on here sharing with all of you, it's not for me because I'm doing the work. I am absolutely doing the work and showing you the results of doing the work. I'm trying to save all of your lives. She is one step. And all my doctors have to thank you for the fact that my blood panels are coming out as nice as they are, right? I love you so much. And we're still here. Look, she said, I got to be at work at 8:30 and I'm still here. All right, let's get off the air before we get into trouble. Bye, Dad, and see you later. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.